Call the meeting to order. Lauren, since you wanted to talk, you can do our invocation.
I don't really like doing invocations.
It's okay.
But okay. God, thank you for this day and thank you for this opportunity to serve. Help us to make great decisions for Sumner County. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Approval of the minutes.
So moved.
Second.
Okay. Just gonna glance in. Public comment.
Is that an all in favor, Mr. Chairman?
All in favor?
Aye.
Public comments. Is there any member of the public that would wish to speak? Okay. Moving into old business, the discussion of audio-visual recordings. So,
Do we not have to approve an agenda?
sure, we can do that.
I know it's not on the agenda, but generally isn't that part of it?
I have a question, Mr. Chairman. Since this was the IT and Technology Usage Ad Hoc Committee, kind of, I guess, and then we had the emails prior to that. I basically had follow-up questions on the email policy, I guess. So August the 15th was the kind of turn-on date.
Mm-hmm.
So last I understood, I was going to just ask, I saw where commissioners, but it was my understanding that the entire kind of county, all departments were switching over except for maybe the sheriff, which is going to be a 2-year staggered program, the last I heard a couple months ago. So what is the status of like getting other, like, such as the assessor property or the county clerk all on the .gov
I think they're all on
emails?
it, aren't they?
County clerk and assessor properties is on it. I think everybody in this building should be on it by now.
So, but what about?
Using the email or the website?
Using email, the websites will come, our new webmaster will start on the 23rd. So we'll start cutting over websites at that point in time.
So what about like the sheriff or other, or county, departments like that?
I don't know, the sheriff's department, there was something weird with some of the software that they use for background checks. Those are usually done at Sumner Sheriff. I think we're still talking about that. That was one thing. EMS is, they have their EMS.org one too. I think they were kind of staying put for a while.
My understanding is highway, EMS, EMA, any of those others is pretty much staying their own entity.
Oh, so they're not being brought in under the umbrella?
That's my
Those-
understanding at that point.
You know, right now, they're just staying where they're put. Everybody else, to my knowledge, is part of the new system, and that's all we're responding to. I know Mr. Graves just got his, if not Friday, today, so he's got a whole bunch of emails that he just hasn't picked up yet, because we deleted from our system anybody else's emails. So if somebody is not using it, they're not getting emails, at least from my office.
So, to your point, not all departments of the county are going to be
Well,
on a migration plan to the .gov.
Well, the highway department and the sheriff's office are constitutional office holders, and they can do as they please.
Right.
I think the sheriff was willing to do it, but my understanding was sometime back, and I can't think of the name of the organization, but it's the group that TBI does that we use for background checks. The ones they won't let you know it's coming from the sheriff's office.
Right.
So the Sumner County TN, they didn't seem real thrilled about. So that's kind of been left alone. EMS, I think, had just converted to Sumner County EMS.org recently, and I guess if someone wants them to change to the SumnerTN.gov, we need to have a conversation with them. But when Greg came on about a year ago, that's when they converted to that, so that people would know when emails came from them that that's where it was. And then EMA has their EMA one, but I think it's part of the state EMA system. So,
Okay,
yeah.
I wanted to ask that question because that was my understanding. Everything
Yeah.
was getting onboarded except for the sheriff at one point, so I just wanted to.
I mean, we'll need to ask Greg. I don't know that he had an opinion. I'll have to ask. I just don't know. And and like I said, from our office's perspective, and I think from Mr. Kim's office too, if you don't have that, if you don't have the Sumner10.gov, you just don't email you. You're just not getting it.
We're emailing to the Sumner County TN.gov,
That's all
and the
we are,
website shows the Sumner County TN.gov for each commissioner.
Right. Yeah, that's
It has.
yes. It's all there, and And like I said, my office, we took them out of our system. So, in fact, I had somebody from church call me and ask me for somebody's email that was not work related, and I didn't have it anymore, so.
It's one good way to get rid of it.
Yeah, I just took it out.
I think the only place that I've noticed is still sending communications to my old email. I just got something from Josh Sutta
Yeah.
for the Board of Zoning and Appeals, and so he may not, I've got a redirect, but I've received a couple things, and there might be a hiccup in my old Gmail account trying to redirect it, but we might just want to follow up with Josh's office. to
Well,
make sure
and
he's got
it
all
may
the
still be some of the,
other committee members.
well, and new secretaries and stuff like that, that something may pop up in an email, or like, I know today, and this was not us related, but another law firm that I was emailing has a new email address, and I went looking for it, and the one I pulled up, I immediately got one back that said we've changed our email address, and it was just a matter of trying to find it in the system, so.
Well, I still can't just automatically direct everything to my new email, because if it's not county related, it doesn't need to go to that new email. So I'm still struggling with that. I'm still having to check both and then forward it from my old email to my new email to respond. So I think there's a lot of that. I mean, citizens.
More citizens, right?
It's mostly citizens, but I think that's going to continue to be an issue for a while.
I just put an auto response on mine, like a vacation response that says, please contact me at this address for county business. And so most people do that. They get that email back and they then send it to the correct
See, and
one.
I haven't gotten that. I've had most people
Not follow
not
through. Okay.
not do that.
I think a lot of times, I mean, I've
it
had
probably
my
depends on
new
the-
email address down there in huge letters, and still for the longest time, I'd say, I got a new email address. Oh, really?
Yeah,
They don't read to the bottom
They
of
don't
the
read to the
email.
bottom. Yeah.
They know it's from you. They just
Yeah.
they don't read the signature.
But then I had somebody send me something the other day. I mean, 100 years ago, I had an excite.com email and an excite.com email.
It still exists. No.
I didn't know there was email 100 years ago.
Yes.
For real, or that you were alive. I have another question, kind of on a related matter. The website, I've noticed that all the newer commissioners don't have pictures. When can we do something about that?
We are in the process of looking for a photographer now. Believe it or not, it's
Okay.
kind of hard to get somebody that wants to come and do that because,
Oh.
you know, we pay them a fee, but it's not a very big fee. And most of the time when they do groups like this, they want to sell you pictures, and we won't let them do that. We make them give you the picture.
Oh,
And
gotcha.
so we're having to kind of,
Didn't we have that done? Like,
4
You
years
had
ago.
that
4
done.
years ago.
4
We
years
didn't
ago.
have that done.
no, we've had it done in the last 4 years because I declined and I asked for my.
We had some
That's when we
ID.
did the IDs.
ID.
That was your
ID.
ID. Oh, you really don't want that. No, remember, Carolyn, the ones that are behind here?
Yeah, that's what I thought
Yeah.
that was the same thing.
No, we take better,
Because
we
my
have a
ID
professional
If that
photographer.
is your ID picture, I want a new one.
Well, my ID picture is that.
I want a new
Oh.
one.
From 4 or 5 years ago, 'cause we did it all in one night.
Oh, okay.
We use the same picture for IDs and
Okay, well,
everything.
what we do is we ask the photographer to donate the pictures to the commission, so he gives you a CD with the picture on it, so you can use it if you want to, or you can throw it away if you want to. And so we gotta find somebody that will do that again.
What's his name from the chamber? Or his wife?
Rick Murray?
Hawkins? No, Hawkins.
Richard Suter.
Hawkins'
I don't know.
husband.
Yeah.
The county mayor is looking into that, and
He's a photographer, Kathleen Hawkins' husband is.
Oh, Jeff.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Discussion of audio video recordings.
the policy is attached to this. Why this is as detailed as it is that we just want to make it clear that we're going to try to do this. We have this new little owl thing that Dennis has fantastically come up with, and I think he has a presentation to show how it works and everything, and I think it's working behind my head. But that you have to understand the official minutes of this body will still be the recorded minutes, and if for some reason this doesn't work, or the power goes out, or, you know, it's a day where it's 110 degrees and we go stand outside under a shade tree, we may not be able to take the power with us, you know, those kind of things. It's not any official failing if we don't do it.
Or if the device breaks.
or it's taken.
And look how you are on the camera right now, because you're talking. It's
So
pretty
maybe we should
impressive.
skip to allow him to make the
Yeah.
presentation.
Let's hear it.
Oh, I thought that's where we were at.
Yeah.
This
Oh, there we go.
Okay.
There's Lauren
The
on camera.
presentation's right here in
Yeah.
reality.
Okay.
It's actually recording this meeting right now. When this meeting's over with, I'll send or make it available to everybody here. And you can take a look at it and see how well it does. I've had different people in here in different parts of the room, in the back of the room speaking, where Mr. Mansfield usually stands for the budget and finance meetings. It picks up everybody. It does a nice job. As you can see, the top bar there is actually a 360-degree view of this room.
Okay.
And then the bottom, of course, when somebody's speaking, it's going to them. When we stop the recording, if I were to stop it right now, the video would actually consume that whole TV screen and it'd be a better view. But what you see now is what it's actually recording.
Can we, so if you're gonna send us all this,
That or a link.
a link to watch this and listen, that way we can kind of see how the audio and everything is ourselves.
Yeah,
Can we have like a couple people come up and just like say something,
sure.
just to test it?
Feel
No?
free.
You wanna come up and just talk for a minute and see how it goes? As a public comment, you know what I mean, just to see how, so we can have a sampling.
As a public comment related to this, there's other people that aren't on, that doesn't have our new email addresses, and that's the school board. All their employees still have the old personal.
The school board,
Yes.
that's their issue though. That's not something we can direct.
Well, I'll address it then on my own basis.
I-
They need to be sending them to my county email address, not my personal email address.
Oh, you're saying that the school board still has yours? Oh, okay.
Old email address.
Old email address, okay.
So like
we'll-
Jeremy Johnson, when he
Yes.
sends the,
Everything, and
school
all
board.
those emails that we got over tax increases come to my personal.
Okay.
Okay.
Directed from them to send to us, except for that form email that was out there wherever it was at, so.
Okay.
Dennis, can we just send that? We'll
Thank
make a
you,
note
Bill.
to send that to the Board of Education.
Can you go stand in the back? and
Yeah,
say
go
something
stand back
else,
there by
please?
that picture and talk to us. Yeah, see if we can hear you in the bathroom, though.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you.
Let's-
It doesn't.
You have to
It's not-
speak for
it's
a few
not-
moments.
So keep talking a little bit.
Filibuster.
Why don't you,
Yeah, filibuster for a bit. You don't have any experience at all.
Potholes.
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 Potholes, we got plenty of potholes up in my neck. Thank God, they're retaining 174, they're starting on it right now, which is called Fairfield Road. From Oak Grove to the state line, which will help car alignments all over the northern part of the county. Did you get that?
It's on my phone.
switching to you.
Yeah.
It's not a good angle.
Well, it's kind of switching to you. It's switching to Lauren.
Mo in the
It
background.
hurt.
I don't like that profile view.
He was doing his best to get back.
Who's doing his
Yeah.
best?
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, Mo.
Yeah, the closer noise to it's gonna get.
Right.
It's gonna pick it
attention,
up.
though.
So when
Yeah, 'cause you
your
whispered
phone-
something or
Yeah, when your
something. And it
phone
caught.
dinged, it went to you even though he was talking.
Yeah.
Well, generally, people don't address the committee from the back of the room, so.
No, but I
That's
just
not
was doing, it's
Yeah.
nice to test it from every angle that we can.
Absolutely.
You know,
Well,
nice to
that, and to
know
be interested to hear what.
How the sound
back
is.
there.
what
Yeah,
the
can
sound
hear,
is like. Yeah.
So this solution, or the solution we had originally was somewhere around $15,000–$16,000 without the modification to the table. The camera itself, for a single room, we're looking at, the camera itself is $700, the laptop is $1,700, and the software is $49.95. For us to be able to do 2 rooms, and this is a mobile solution, it'll be connected to a laptop, not this TV.
Okay.
For it to be a mobile solution, it can be in this room, it can be in Mr. Holt's room where they also have meetings.
Okay.
For 2 solutions, we're only looking at $5,000. So
Wow.
it's a savings of potentially, what, $15,000?
And we won't have to, be concerned when it's election time, because I see the election people over there, because they're concerned, this will just be taken out, because it's mobile, and we won't have to rearrange the tables.
And this will be,
Miss Ashley, are you okay with that?
Oh, I'm Miss Hall.
Oh,
Miss Ashley's not in here. Miss Ashley's not here right now.
Are you okay with that?
With this mobile solution,
Okay.
yes.
Okay.
when this is, so when we're not having, it's not gonna be out all the time. It's
No.
gonna be
No.
with you in your office
Yes, ma'am.
unless there's a
A
meeting
little
going
tote
on.
bag.
Is there,
Is that the plan?
Yeah.
To keep it
And then
stored
you
in
said
a,
it's 2 buttons to turn it on?
Well, no, this one's different.
Oh, okay.
This one's.
that was my next question. What does it take to operate it, and does that mean we'll still need to increase the budget to pay for a person to operate it each time?
It's a very simple product. It runs on a piece, the software as you see up here. And all that really is you double click the software, start it, and then click start recording. It's
Okay.
really simple. At the end of the meeting, when you shut down, the laptop gets returned to my office. And we'll download the file the next morning and upload it to the internet.
Where's the laptop right now?
There isn't.
He's
There's not
running
one
it through
right
the TV.
Oh,
right
you're
now.
right. Okay.
I only had enough money to purchase the owl to start this
Okay,
because
gotcha.
I had to pull that out of my own budget to do it.
Okay, gotcha.
so this is not on loan, this is, we've.
We own
gone
I
that.
ahead
officially purchased this product.
And
Just
it's an
this-
excellent, you've already listened to recordings as well.
Yes,
From
ma'am.
previous meetings, and audio quality was excellent.
Yeah, he had a staff meeting and brought it to me to listen, and it was fine. It was just, and he had an earlier version that you sent back
Right.
that I listened to, and it was fine. The only thing that was weird about it was, because it was like fisheye, everybody was kind of weirdly distorted. This is a whole lot better than,
Got it, the visual.
Yeah, the other one just did the top screen where there was a 360-degree view. It didn't actually pick you out.
Could I ask one question?
Of course.
I'm Alan Emery, Chairman of the Vice Commission. What's the recording,
Whatever the hard drive space is on the computer.
which max would be what?
The computer we're looking to purchase would be 500 gig.
So we would record?
30 hours.
Okay. Thank you.
So who will be responsible for transporting it from its storage and turning it on for each meeting and off for each meeting?
Depends. I'm hoping whoever's doing the meeting, the minutes for those meetings. And we'll actually walk them through using it and setting it up.
So Maria?
sounds easy enough.
Maria or Jessica, who was here earlier.
You're not afraid of that
No.
request.
So where will, I guess, the central repository for this be? Like, just in the IT department? Like,
He just said in his office.
So in a 6 o'clock meeting that it's after hours, how does somebody get access to this?
Well, for the most of the meetings I usually show up for, or I try to, so I'll probably be the one that brings it down and turns it on. If I can't attend, then I'll make sure it goes to whoever's in those meetings.
So there'll be somebody to set it up on,
Yeah.
barring no power outages or leaks or whatever,
Yes,
something.
Somebody will be here to take care of
Well,
it.
Need to let highway know.
So
Yeah,
would it
highway
be possible,
and then planning.
did you say a 500 gigabyte hard drive?
The laptop does have one, but we'll probably save that data to the SAN upstairs, which has 36 terabytes.
Gotcha. Would it be possible to do, what is the difference to a 1 terabyte hard drive, just in case?
There isn't a lot of difference.
I mean,
But we're not actually looking at saving it to that unit anyways.
correct.
That'll be just.
It's just a holding
If it
place.
holds 30 hours of video, I don't know why we would.
So will it hold 30 hours, actual 30 hours? of-
Should.
of
That's
that?
2 years worth of
So,
meetings.
Yeah, that's all I need.
So, like tonight's, we've got 4 hours worth of meetings,
Right.
tonight,
Well,
roughly.
I'm not
Could be.
leaving it here tonight.
So, I'm just saying, but I'm, like a night like tonight that's stacked, it's 4
Yeah.
hours. So what is the process after, the meeting's done, you guys take it back and you upload it to the server, I guess, the next day kind of thing?
Yeah,
And
we'll be the next
so as
day.
far as public availability and viewability, what is the process for just providing a link on the county website? Does it go to sumnertn.gov, sumnercountytn.gov? What is our YouTube? I mean, do we do a YouTube channel like Hendersonville has?
Right now, I thought that was.
That'd be great. I
YouTube.
mean,
Well, I was just gonna put it on the county website.
Oh, well, if you put it on the county website, that's great. Okay, I was thinking we didn't have room.
No, we're moving it off Keystone to our server here.
Okay, then, so it'll be on the website. You don't even have to hunt for it on YouTube.
gotcha, so that's good. So,
That's
At some point,
fantastic.
now, I'm not positive the exact location of it at the moment because, of course, this is all still kind of in a planning stage, but
sure, but it's just that process of getting it uploaded.
yeah, I would say within 24 hours it will be online.
Okay.
Probably much sooner than that unless it's a Friday.
We don't tend to
Usually have meetings on Fridays, so
Fridays, so.
Yeah.
it's not really an issue.
No, I don't know.
Normally.
Questions, mobility.
So we would need
accessibility,
to
Huh?
strike number 3 from this policy, because this would not require us to alter our table.
Right.
So we would need to strike number 3.
Something to think about is how long are we are we gonna keep these videos online forever? Or is there a expiration date? Is there any kind of statute we have to do? Can we just keep them forever? I'd rather we do, but is there?
Well, there's no
what-
statute because these are technically not the official minutes. I know, like with the written minutes, Mr. Kemp, what, do we have a decade online? And then they're in your office if you need them earlier than that.
I don't know. I know the answer.
Yeah.
There's just as many as out there
Right,
that
right.
we have. I don't know what we have.
Since before you existed.
So there's no limit, there's no limitation. We can.
There's no
we can keep
limitation,
it all
or it
out
just
there.
becomes a size thing
There was
and
no
that sort of
website
thing.
since before I.
Yeah.
Right, that's my point. It's since,
So-
Al Gore
since-
hadn't invented
since
the
you've been
internet
on,
yet.
like-
So we can, if size is an issue in years to come, or offload to YouTube or something like that if we need to for archives or older ones. But you can always frame those into the site for accessibility.
I think that's something that we would have to probably address with whoever's on the commission at the time that that happens. So probably, I don't think we can dictate now
No, I
what's gonna
understand.
happen and what the commission in 5 years is gonna do.
Right, right. You just,
When they
you
run
know,
out of
yeah.
space or have to move something.
But it is possible for us to want to go back and look at a committee meeting. That was 4 or 5 years ago.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
So
absolutely.
I
Yeah.
think that would be the goal to, you know, and we can maybe even say in this resolution that it's a goal to retain and make those available for 5 years or 7 years or, you know, but again, I think it's clearly stated that this is not we're not creating this as an obligation,
Yeah.
but having a point of view or a goal in mind. Does that sound even remotely, is that reasonable or does that sound
To me it is.
outrageous? Okay, reasonable.
It's reasonable to me.
Is there a certain time frame that you think?
I would not want to have a time frame at all. So
Yeah,
I was just
and if
asking.
the
I was
term-
making sure we didn't have a limitation,
Just put
basically.
it in.
I mean, I think what we do is my recommendation would be, other than taking out the table piece of it, to pass the resolution and let's revisit this. I don't think we ought to, you know, do away with this committee, just kind of keep this committee operational. And maybe in 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, let's revisit it and see what our
After some
comments
trial
have
and error
been,
and-
trial and error kind of thing, because I know some of the ones, and Dennis has been looking at them, and I've been looking at other counties, and some of the county ones that I've looked at, they've gone through and cleaned them up is the wrong word, but some of them you turn them on and it's 8 hours, and they just turn it on and
During the day.
there's a
and-
meeting, yeah, there's a meeting, and then it sits there for 30 minutes, and then there's a meeting, and then it's 15 minutes, and then some of them I looked at were a whole lot more professional, where were starting the education meeting for June 3rd, 2019, and then when it was ended, they would say meeting adjourned, and it would end. And like I said, they were in better bites. So I think we may want to visit how we want to do that after we see how this works.
I think that makes sense.
I have a question about audio. It's something I've asked Mr. Kemp for a while. 'Cause I know we use our voice recorders for things, but since we have our own system, I would like to see audio recordings made available that instead of CDs having to get it to where it's an MP3 file or MP4 file, so you can download it and listen to it in your car on your iPhone. I mean, if you don't want to watch a video, I know it's nice to sometimes, because it's illegal to watch a video in your car now in Tennessee. So, what's possible for us to work? I mean, we don't just solve that tonight, but I'm posing that question out there. I would love to have audio things where I don't necessarily want to watch a video, of having the audio archive as well of the meeting, or are we going to abandon audio archive since we're doing the video?
I don't think we need to, what Mr. Kemp's office does and what Budget does with those little recorders, I think we continue on, because
I agree.
that goes along with, you know, they're taking notes all the time of who's talking, who makes motions, you know, who the people are that make public comment. This is just raw recorded video, and it's not necessarily gonna sync up with what Maria's writing down. So I think we've got to keep that way. Whether or not those can be downloaded into files that can be emailable or can be put online is gonna be something Mr. Kemp and his group will have to talk to Dennis about, because that is way outside of my.
I mean, you can burn it on a CD, you can put it on a website, so I mean,
Yeah.
it's that simple. But just, what's if there's a process, or is it?
So you're gonna have videos available with audio. You're gonna have audio files available. You're gonna have paper minutes.
Correct.
Question for you would be,
Interesting.
can we just pull the audio off of the video and create that into an MP4 format and give it to you that way? We could get both. There's the video and here's the audio.
Yeah,
along
if
that
that's easy,
video.
yeah, it just.
So then that takes away the.
Might simplify.
I've
the
gotten the
having
audio,
to
okay,
reproduce
I've
it.
raised my hand, I'm
Too.
sorry, I'm
Yeah.
polite, I'm just gonna
That
speak
wouldn't
now.
be-
I've gotten the audio before for meetings, So I'm not sure what the question is. I've asked for the audio from meetings and have been given it on a thumb
Because you have to go
drive.
here physically and get a CD, and I don't want to do that, or people don't want to do that. I mean,
He doesn't want to drive to Goodlettsville.
If you can,
Goodlettsville here
if you can
to get it,
download
is what he's
something
saying.
from Hendersonville or Gallatin or Portland or
Or
Westmoreland.
you can wait for it to be mailed to you, I mean, or.
I mean, you guys, I mean,
It's
seems like-
typically, it's too big a file to email.
Yeah, it's,
Yeah,
Is what it is.
Yeah,
Is
so
the
it's
problem.
hard to email.
What I'm
I
hearing
don't
I'm not
Dennis
saying
say-
emailing. I'm saying it's uploaded to the county website and you download it. That's all I'm saying.
So
Okay.
Dennis, when he uploads the
Pretty
video, it might say, September 9th, ad hoc committee meeting, 4:00 PM, video, audio.
And so you could play it as a CD in your car, as an audio, without seeing the video, but it would still play the audio.
You could.
It's a digital file,
Yeah.
MP4, it's just like an iTunes, you buy a music file and
Right,
you
that's
download
what
it
I'm
to
saying,
you.
it's the same thing though.
Yeah.
If you download it, it would play either way, it would play,
It's a much
Correct.
bigger file though, if it's a video
It's a much
file.
smaller file, yes.
Yeah, if you have just the audio file, it's, rather than streaming a
I
video.
don't see any reason we
Well,
can't do it since we're doing it.
well, I understand, but I'm just thinking one step at a time. I guess is what I'm thinking.
No.
Can we, let's conquer this and then let's.
This might
You
be
know
a
what I'm
nice
saying?
process improvement for the entire
I don't
county
agree.
though.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, it's pretty simple. You can do it, but at the same time, we're not
Potentially,
here.
Got it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm
Does that
hearing
mean part of
Dennis
the
say that he
resolution?
believes that to be doable.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Okay. Does that mean, is that part of the resolution then?
No,
Not at this
No.
point.
it's a separate resolution.
Okay.
The standing, it mentions in the resolution, therefore, only the standing committees of this body, so budget, legislative, highway, does that meet here as well, or does highway meet somewhere?
Here.
Yeah,
Here.
It does meet here as
Right here,
well.
in this room.
So then committee on committees, education, emergency services, I believe it should say and general ops. For that to work. So those are the ones that we are addressing through this resolution. I was wondering if we should include a new point towards the end to say that reporting of planning commission, board of zoning and appeals, ad hoc committees, or any other committees will be further evaluated upon successful implementation of this initial solution. And I know there's a second point on our agenda to talk about recording in the chambers, but as a resolution stands, would that help us approve this resolution so
Yes,
that it,
because it breaks them down into smaller bites. It's easier to take smaller bites.
does that make sense?
It does. I've got edits to this resolution now.
I do
Whenever
too.
you guys are ready.
Well,
Well,
and
you can
that's
start.
what, I would like to see planning at least added to this list.
No, because
Especially
planning
it's
can't
mobile.
happen in here, it's because this
But this
room
is
isn't big
mobile.
enough.
You could,
This is mobile.
We're talking about having two solutions available,
Right. There'll be
two
two
Ls.
two L's check, you can check out.
two owls, two laptops, and we could set up the owl in the chambers.
That's a large area, so I don't.
I don't think
that's
Dennis
gonna be
tested
good.
it there.
Yeah.
It has
You
not
wouldn't
been
be
tested.
successful with the OWL unless you're in this conference table because it has a 12-foot audio radius and a 6-foot video radius that's actually clear.
Right,
Once you get past that, it starts distorting.
yeah.
And planning does meet on that one side of the chamber. You
Yeah,
could
they all
probably
meet
put the
within-
owl on that table right there in the
They meet within
front.
So
and
would
feet
that-
of each
Pick
other.
that up.
It
It's
would
just,
work.
yeah, I think it would work.
It
I
probably
haven't
could.
seen it, so I don't know.
I mean, I
We
just
haven't
thinking about
tested it yet.
how planning meets, where they all sit within literally one little area.
Yeah, it's really a
That'd be
smaller
great.
spot than this, because they
Yeah.
just sit in the first two rows of the,
Josh sits facing the side of the chambers and the side of the
Right.
chambers in those first two rows.
and then the first two rows, like Jeremy, where your seat is, there's not really anybody that far, I mean,
Behind.
that's about as far back as they go.
So it's almost a conference room setup, but,
Mhm.
But Dennis could test it there
Yeah.
to see if it would work before we go out and do anything else.
So I'm hearing Dennis needs to test this.
Yes, Dennis.
Dennis, would you be
plan.
willing to test this in there?
Test it.
Thank you.
Do you
We could all
have
go
any
there right now
reservations or-
before the-
Well,
it-
no, because
it-
we don't have a laptop.
seems like it would,
If it works, it works.
seems
Do the
probable,
laptop first.
possible.
Yeah.
Possible or probable,
Which is why I think we need
somewhere.
to
in
separate
Somewhere.
these.
Okay, so because that was separate.
Okay, here's a few edits that I see for this policy. The third whereas is only undertaken to offer citizens, plural, who cannot attend meetings, plural, another option, all right. As Deanne said on F, emergency services and general operations. And then on the back, we strike number 3 because we're not altering the room. And then in number 4, I don't like the sentence, the decision to move to another location does not imply anything covert or unethical action. So maybe any covert or unethical action, or just remove the whole word anything. Does not imply covert or unethical action.
That's fine.
Yeah. I
Sorry,
agree.
that's just my brain that works that way. Okay.
Good job.
So is that an amendment to the, is there, we have a motion?
Second.
Yes, a motion to make all of those edits.
Second.
So I would like to make a motion to amend that amendment. So I was just reading through it, so I didn't like, in basically starting the headline, a resolution adopting instead of an experimental, I was gonna move to strike that out and just say a strategy for recording of, and then instead of certain standing committee meetings in an audiovisual format. The first paragraph, basically just, I was gonna strike out where it says provide additional options to, just say Sumner County's wishes to allow citizens to view, and then strike out certain and have standing committee meetings. And then the second to the last sentence, where it says, and will therefore, instead of, I'd strike out undertake experimental strategy of making, and just say make audio-visual recordings of, strike out certain, replace with standing committee meetings. I do have an extra copy of this, by the way.
Okay, good.
So, would you pass that down to me? Just so she can read that, so. Thank you. I had the same thing that Lauren had on the third paragraph of the pluralization of those two words, but I was just going to strike out in the first line where it says shall not serve as an ongoing obligation, just shall not change the manner in which the official records of the county are maintained or replaced, since obviously the emphasis is on the written minutes being the official, and this is, any audio-visual is not, so I didn't think that was necessary.
So you're just taking out serve as an ongoing obligation?
Correct.
Shall not.
Just shall not change the manner in which the official records. I guess it's the therefore right before the number one. It's where it says this body does hereby adopt the following. I was going to strike out experimental and just say the following strategy.
Okay.
It's my recommendation. And then on one, the last one for general operations says shall be considered for potential recorded, just shall be recorded. So that's kind of a little rough. And question real quick, where did you guys add planning to this? To this
Let's do a
list?
separate resolution.
Okay, a separate one for
Because it's in a different
one. Okay. The back of the page, just section 5, I just marked out again, struck out where it says serve as an ongoing obligation. So it basically says meetings shall not change the manner in which the official records of the county are maintained nor replaced. So that was just my only recommendations.
Is there a second?
Hang on, I'm processing it mentally. Thank you. Oh.
Leah, any concerns about that? I know, I agree with the heart of that, or the intent behind taking out some of that language. The ongoing obligation, for legal purposes, I know that we do want to make it clear that this is not intended to replace our legal obligation to provide minutes and make that available.
Yeah, that's definitely clear in two different spots on that.
Well,
resolution.
and my only, and I want to go back and read this and think it through, what I don't want to have happen is if y'all decided you don't like how this is working, and Dennis, and then you tell Dennis to go off and find another option, and so for 6 months we say we're not going to do it, I don't want you to have to go and pass a new resolution. What I want to say is that, because while it's not experimental, it is experimental, because we
Yes.
don't know how this is going to work. I just kind of think we need to make it understood by this resolution that there may be stops and starts in this as we deal with the new technology, because, you know, Mr. Al may work great, and then it may break 3 months into this, and we have to find something else.
I was thinking the same thing. I mean, we actually just said a few minutes ago, before we started talking about the nuts and bolts of the resolution, talking about this being a trial and error thing. Let's try this, see how it works, and let's meet again in 3 months. And
Well, and
So
then
kind of
the
watch it
flip,
and see
and then
how
the
it's
flip side of
going.
it is, if you
I
want,
hope it works great.
right, but the flip side of it is, you don't have to pass a resolution right now. You can just say, this is the experiment, we're trying it, let's go forward, and then 3 months from now, 4 months from now, we pass a resolution saying, hey, here's what we figured out.
But is that, hold every committee accountable to do it? Do we need
No,
to pass something
no.
to hold them accountable to use it and do it?
Well, I think what you
Technically,
do
yes.
is you ask them to. If you pass the resolution, yes. If you just tell everybody, hey, we want this done, and Judy says, I'm not doing it, then you can talk to Judy about it. But,
We passed a resolution.
so,
I mean,
this is what, but
I
but
feel like
if
to
you're,
pass
if
a
you're gonna
resolution-
pass a
We'll pass a
resolution
resolution.
now, I think you still need to recognize that this is still
Experimental.
in a training period. You know, we're kind of on a probation period.
Some sort of a
here.
word, something, I mean, even if we change the word experimental, I feel like that word needs to kind of stay in the context of it at this point. Even if we pass another resolution in 3 months, it's more permanent removal.
So what did you guys
Does that make
do
sense?
when you, sort of, I mean, what did you guys do when you put the audio video in the main chambers to record it?
There was never a
It
resolution
was, I
passed.
mean, that's
It's
been there
just-
for
it's
as long
just
as I
there.
can remember, so.
Well, it's just there, and we hope it works, and sometimes it does, and sometimes it doesn't.
So we don't have any kind of standing resolution saying we will record kind of like this, it's our intent to do
Nope.
that.
No, okay.
Because all the state requires us to do is have written minutes.
Okay, it's a new resolution, I'd like to.
Does the motion die, Mr. Chairman?
There's not a second on it, so I'm
I'm not even sure what the motion is. Oh,
I'm
was
guessing
it
so.
edit?
Well, it's to
Right.
add his
Well-
amendments to Lauren's amendments.
Yeah. I
Is
guess
there a
my only
second
thing is I'd
point?
like to keep the experimental, or some form of that word in there
Let's see
for
this.
now.
But if
Is
you
there a
say
way to do that?
developmental or development,
I really like the word experimental.
Well, yeah, it sounds like we're in some science lab.
I mean,
Hey, as a
agree.
kid that excelled at science, I love that word.
No, it did
I
not
mean,
excel.
it's a strategy. I mean, I don't think you have to say, I think it's,
Something though that says that we're working on this and we
I think
expect
we-
everyone to follow through and use this during this period until we pass this, something that doesn't say, we're working on this, we got
and
this.
the only reason I struck out certain committee meetings, because I guess,
We spell it exactly.
right now, it's just standing committee meetings, because that's what this is about. That's what the
We got
headline says, so that's
$100,
bringing
we gotta move this
consistency
along.
into the document. So those are some things, instead of, but are you,
We
so,
also want
did I not
ad
get a
hocs
second?
on
Did
there
that
too.
fail?
Yes.
Do we want ad hocs too though?
Not yet.
Somewhere this
I think
mentions ad hocs.
Definitely should have ad hocs, I mean, if you're in this
But they're
room.
not standing committees.
So, are we gonna have to have a separate resolution? So, can we?
So that's my,
My thought was to amend
Okay.
your amendment, and I'm not against what your amendment is, so.
Already have an amendment on the floor.
Yeah,
That'd be the
that's
third
right, that'd be.
amendment.
Yeah.
Can we do two? So, how about, can I revise my amendment?
Well, you don't have one, there's no second, Mr.
Okay.
Chairman.
Right, there's no second on his amendment,
All
so
right,
he
then I'll-
technically doesn't have an amendment.
Then I'll make another
There
amendment.
you
How
go.
about that? So,
Start
it's-
over.
can, where I had said for, the headline for recording of certain standing committees.
Do you have handouts for everybody?
I don't, I'm sorry. Can we make, we can make copies maybe? I don't.
I mean, it's hard for me to
Well,
keep up with.
let me recommend this, because we've had a whole lot of different things. We can meet again in a month. It's gonna take Dennis a month to get more details on how to work this and to get the computers in and operate like that. Let Ben and I take a stab at drafting this, because I've kind of got an idea in my head where we take it away from standing committees and let's list the committees that we want to try it. Planning being one of them, because I think from the
That's a
very
big one.
beginning, that's been one of those that people are a whole lot more concerned about is what's going on in planning than what's going on at, say, highway. you
I
know.
agree.
Well, I would want the language, I mean, eliminating standing is just so ad hoc's included, planning,
Right,
board of
right.
zoning appeals. These, what we're terming as standard committees as far as our rules and regulations, I believe, terminology wise. So I guess striking that standing, if you consider that, I guess, see how that reads. That makes more sense to me. That way it's
I agree.
all inclusive for everything, it's just all the meetings
I agree.
that we can record.
I agree with that.
Because that's ad hoc planning and,
We could say
Well-
designated committees, so that we
Yeah.
can identify those specific standing and planning and
Yes, that's-
designated committees
Yeah.
might be a good term.
Do we
And that
make a motion
way,
for that?
Well, okay. I've heard two different things now. Okay.
Was
go
that an
ahead.
official
Just-
amendment? Because
Well,
I
we were
don't
listening to
know.
Leah.
Can I-
We're
Leah
was
discussing
making
right now.
a
It's
can
not
I,
suggestion.
can I,
amendment,
ma- can I make a statement that we start out with some, and let's pick on highway. The person who takes the minutes in highway is an employee of the highway department usually, or someone that she gets to take minutes. It's not a normal minute taker. I could see that one being one that we put on a little bit later after we get See, to me, planning is important, legislative is important, budget is important. Maybe we pick a few to start and tell them this is what you're gonna have to do. And then we'll add on. And then I think every time y'all create an ad hoc committee, you need to say if you want it as part of the reporting process. Because, you know, an ad hoc committee going out to look at roads that need potholes fixed, so let's just use that, make that up as an example, is probably not going to be conducive to doing that.
Right.
Just like some of those courthouse meetings where they go meet in the kitchen at the jail, it's probably not conducive to do that because they're over there to look at jail equipment.
How about, I would say ad hoc, any meeting that takes place in the building, in this room or in the chambers, if it's a committee meeting, ad
Well,
hoc.
and I agree, except that sometimes you've got meetings going on in my conference room, Anthony's conference room, this room, and you're only gonna have two. So you're gonna have to figure out which ones you want. Those are things, and I'm not saying we're gonna decide that tonight.
We
But-
have 4 meetings meeting at the same time. I've never seen that before, so.
Sometimes.
On occasion.
On occasion, the first Monday of the month, like tonight, if insurance had met, we would have had a meeting starting at 4 upstairs, we would have had a meeting starting at 4 right here.
Insurance on the list. Okay. This resolution is for meetings held in the committee room. So this
Correct.
resolution is not for all committee meetings. And my
Correct.
understanding from the earlier half of this meeting is that we are, after discussing this resolution, that we are then going to visit B, which is recording in chambers.
Correct.
So I am personally comfortable with continuing our discussion and amending this resolution for the committee room policy. I don't want to wait another month personally, so I feel like we should push through and agree on the edits and adopt this policy for meetings in the committee room. That's my opinion.
Your edits or Mr. Mainsfield's edits?
Well, that
Or-
remains to be seen.
We've not voted on, yeah,
Well, you did an amendment to her amendment.
but I
We
didn't
didn't get a
second it,
second.
Okay. So we're gonna vote on Ms. Eccles' amendment.
So we're gonna just pass
I wanted to
it?
make it another amendment, but Leah started explaining, so I was gonna kind of just.
So do you still want to make an amendment?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
So, thoughts on removing where it says just to provide additional options, anywhere it says that, or?
Where are we?
The first
The
whereas.
first paragraph, whereas Sumner County wishes to provide additional options, just say Sumner County wishes to allow citizens to view committee meetings, strike out certain, committee meetings, which take place in room 112. Because that covers everything.
Okay, so
And-
just
and-
take out the word search, is that what you're saying?
Correct.
But
Just
I
view-
have, as long as this is experimental, I think you've got to keep words in here that indicate we're
That we can make
only,
changes.
we're only working this out.
So would you like to?
This
keep in-
isn't the end all be all,
And will
is what she's trying to
therefore
explain to you.
undertake experimental strategy of making, so keep that in there, would that suffice? In the first paragraph where it says undertake experimental strategy of making. So you're saying, Leah, you want to keep that in there?
I want it understood when someone reads this, that this is just a preliminary plan. We don't know what this is gonna look like 60 days from now. We gotta make sure the OWL works, we gotta make sure the OWL can be uploaded like Dennis thinks he can do it.
And I agree that we can
I think
make
so, too.
that intent clear in here without using the terminology experimental strategy. I think we can find a way to get to that intent. I think if the title is that we are adopting a resolution for recording committee meetings, make sure we got that right.
Yes.
And then if in the first whereas we say, and we are therefore undertaking an experimental strategy to do this, and I think that's what you were proposing, so that we say our goal is to record committee meetings.
But
But
remember,
our
remember,
resolution.
technically in legislation, your heading has to be what's in your body. So if you say the body it's experimental, and you say in the heading it's permanent, you can't do that.
Yeah, the heading does not need to say.
So you have to in the heading of this say that this is a trial run test,
Got it.
not the end all be all.
So-
Otherwise, this is the end all be all.
So I guess that's where semantics comes in a little bit for me, because I understand what you're saying, experimental, but our goal is to adopt a strategy, period. No matter what.
That's been our
the-
goal without.
That's the reason this committee
That's why this
exists.
whole committee exists.
Correct, so that's
been
why
our goal.
that's why I was striking out experimental, I thought it was.
But this is an experiment. This is an experiment because if in 6 months you decide that you don't like this anymore, or I decide that we don't like this anymore, or what have you, we can come through and say,
Okay, no,
Dennis, let's find something else.
we're looking at
We
This is
never,
crap.
in the resolution, say that we're using the owl.
We don't.
But-
So, I
No,
mean, so we're not
still,
beholden to
but-
that.
But then if we're, so if in 2 months, we're not using this anymore, we're not using anything. You know what I'm saying? We go.
But
for
the
a time
resolution
period,
still
we're
says
not
that we
using
have
anything.
to- so somebody's
This
gonna have to-
resolution is entirely saying we're using, we're doing it. Does that make sense?
It does.
So there's a gap there. And I guess that's what I want to make sure we're covering ourselves so we don't end up with something that's maybe not what we really want in the end. Something, there's something better out there that we could
If
use.
that's, I mean, that's fine. I mean, that's,
I don't want
I
us
mean,
to
you guys
get
don't have to
caught in a
second
trap.
it.
We don't
That's
get
okay.
caught in a trap that says we have to keep.
Well,
bringing
we're
it
gonna
up.
end up
So
caught.
language
We're gonna end up
says-
caught in a loophole if this machine gets stolen, broken, or we decide not to use it. But we have a resolution that says we are recording committee meetings, and somebody's gonna have to sit in here with their phone and record every single meeting. Or,
Right.
or we're gonna have to do something like emergency right then, right there. We got to get this passed tonight, or the sky's gonna fall tomorrow, as the terminology you like to use. So we have to leave this as experimental.
Point of order, Mr. Chairman. What is that about? I
Okay,
don't use
moving forward.
terminology like that.
We have to keep this as experimental. Otherwise, we're going to have this legal loophole thing problem, throwing our hands up in the air, not knowing how to fix it overnight.
Mr. Chairman, and I understand what Commissioner Eccles is saying about passing a resolution, but recognize that the county commission meetings are recorded without a resolution and have been since we started recording, just like we have a board and there's not really a resolution. We've discussed resolutions about how the board's gonna be done, but they've never been successfully decided one way or the other. So how we do it is how it was set up originally. What I would recommend we do is, this is the second Monday of the month. Obviously, we don't have anything else except the commission. What if at the next planning meeting, which will be the 4th Tuesday, what if Dennis and I try to set it up for that, see how it works, and I'll redraft something that kind of more addresses this, and then we'll come back with a resolution and with y'all being able to see how planning works. Because that way we'll know, and if we know it's gonna work in that setup in there, we can go ahead and address planning at the meeting.
I'm fine with that.
I like that idea as well. That
I
means
mean,
we
we don't have to
pass-
have a resolution to do this. We'll just set him up, and when, I mean, what I'm thinking is starting October, Dennis will just have it down here, and let's see what happens. Let's see how it looks and how it works, and we won't even mention the highway. We'll just, that particular, because highway starts at 4:30, so it's not a problem. Dennis can be down here and set it up, and we can,
And we can record meetings from this month, or
There's-
starting in October, and
I mean, we can-
without, we don't
there's
need the
nothing that
commission's approval.
stops you from recording meetings. Now,
Right.
there are some counties that have forbid the recording of meetings. I don't know how legally they're doing that.
Clarksville, I'm
But
sure they're
that's
gonna
a
get challenged.
different, that's a whole different argument. We don't have that. We have some equipment, let's sit it down and let's record it. I mean, presently, Maria has a little tape recorder I've seen before, but she has different tape recorders too. In fact, I usually see that she has 2 down there. I mean, we'll work to get this done and see how it goes, and let's find out how this works before we go have Dennis buy 2 of them, for one thing.
Sure.
Fair.
And let's just see how it goes.
I think we all agree on what we're trying to
Exactly.
accomplish.
I think so, too.
And we are probably stumbling over semantics and language.
But that's the
Because
purpose of
of-
this ad hoc committee, so it's to
That's
stumble
exactly-
over semantics and language. What
That's
we're
exactly
doing.
right. Now, I have a question. So if we don't pass this ordinance tonight,
We can adjourn without passing any resolution.
can we agree that we're going to maybe at least send out an email to all the committee chair people, include Dennis and you in that email? Obviously, probably needs to come from Luke, maybe, as chairperson of this, that
I mean-
this is what we're doing.
I have no problem sitting
Just to
out.
kind of
Isn't
let everybody
legislative meeting
know.
after this?
Right.
Let everybody know.
Isn't legislative meeting after this?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, well then I
But
can just do a
that's-
presentation then.
But let everybody know this is what we're doing, and maybe continue to record. We've got meetings stacked up tonight.
Yeah,
Can
we
we,
can
hey
continue to
Dennis,
record every
can
night,
we
all night.
record the legislative meeting after that? Just leave this up. just as a test to see how it goes,
Do we turn it off in between and turn it back on?
or do
To
you
make
leave
them
it
separate?
continuously?
I'll probably sit here for the committee and run it
Okay.
myself, just to make sure.
I'm just thinking about separate recordings, so when
Yeah,
you
he'd
get a
stop
file.
it.
So you would stop this and then
Yeah,
start it?
I'll-
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll stop.
Stop and then restart, okay.
I wonder if maybe we record the meetings that we can, including planning commission, and then maybe try to come to a meeting a month from now with this group with another resolution that has done the work of stumbling through the language, because I think
That's
that
what Leah's
this,
saying.
there's a total collective agreement that we're going to do this, but then try to get the words. And I agree, generally speaking, with all of, with your language. I had some other language that I would have proposed, and maybe we can email our language.
I mean, I
Leah?
can rework this in about a week and email it out to
Yeah.
y'all, and y'all can send back ideas to us, and we'll do whatever we can.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what Leah was proposing to us.
Was that a motion to table?
I mean,
I make a
technically, you
motion to
don't
table.
even have a resolution that's,
Forcing us to do anything.
yeah, I think what I would recommend is someone make a resolution that we scrap this, redraft, and in the interim, get Dennis to work with all committee chairmen to try it, and we'll send an email out. Chairman Tinsley, I'll get something drafted for you to look at to send out to everybody saying we'd like y'all to try this.
Yes, ma'am.
And
Are you gonna report to legislative tonight?
Yes, sir.
Okay, yeah, I
and
think
then-
that's good.
Well, and that's where your chairman will be anyway.
Right.
But that way we can let them know, kind of, this is Mr. Owl, and this is what we're gonna try to do. What's his name?
So, I guess first thing I need to do, I need to remove my
Motion to
second.
table.
I'm gonna remove my second from her motion. She has a motion on the
You
floor.
table it
amendment.
now.
You're just tabling it from.
So, the motion she
Table.
made that I seconded, we're not gonna vote on?
Is there a second to the motion
Second.
table?
I'm confused.
You table, second.
You're
motion
tabling the whole
The
discussion.
whole thing, but I already
resolution.
seconded a
She-
motion that was on the
that's-
table.
It doesn't
That's
matter.
fine.
So it doesn't matter.
No. Because we're
Just wanna make
tabling the
sure.
whole thing as a whole. It's like putting a pause and
Okay, I just wanna make sure that we're not ignoring her motion.
all in favor of
Aye.
tabling the motion?
Aye.
Aye.
Yes or no?
Jeremy voted no.
Okay, I have a question now.
Done.
Am I good to go ahead and purchase the laptop and the software for this to start testing? Which is another about $2,000.
Do you have the money in your budget?
That's my
a-
budget.
That's a Gen Ops budget committee.
That's a budget committee
Well,
question.
we've already approved the money for the original project.
That's true. The
So I already
15,
have-
yeah.
Did we?
Yeah.
Yeah.
15,000 was in the budget.
Yeah, I already have that in my
Okay.
budget. So
I voted for that.
I'm simply asking you if it's okay to go ahead and purchase the laptop and the software to continue testing with this.
And that's a motion you need to make.
Is that a monthly fee or just a one-time fee, that $50?
One time.
It's just
So
about a
moved.
laptop.
Move that we allow Dennis to purchase the necessary equipment.
Second.
Second,
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passes unanimously.
Okay, so that will be done. Dennis has the authority to get one unit of what he needs.
Make a motion, we table item B.
until we hear
Is there
this.
any additional information that you needed to share, Chairman? Mr. Kent? or anybody?
With, talking to Arbor, that they have an upgrade to the software and they could make the changes to, we just have to tell them what we want. And at this point, we're unable to do that. So they were. then they were
Arbor is
gonna do
the
it-
system in the main room.
They were gonna do it at no charge, to do that. But I think this is a better solution
I agree.
than a fixed camera that gets a big picture that you really don't know who's talking.
Right.
Well, the Arbor is, the problem is you can only have 4 microphones, and it's
Correct.
extremely user error prone because of having to turn it on and off. I've watched 2 joint meetings in there, and nobody remembers to do their audio and video, then hit the microphone, and that defeats the purpose of even doing the meeting, so.
Guilty.
Is
I think
there a
that this
second
is,
to the motion to table?
Oh, yeah.
I thought there
Yeah,
was.
I
Motion,
No,
second.
this
Second.
is B. Ms. Eccles made a motion. to
Oh, no,
table.
B, B.
The planning commission, so yes, that
Planning
needs to be
commission.
taken.
Second, thank you.
All in favor of tabling them? Item B.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay.
New business?
I mean, other than the Arbor update, I don't
So
know.
after new business is?
Motion to adjourn.
No, you need to figure out when you're gonna meet next.
That's new business.
Second Monday, this was Columbus, so the
Yeah.
first Monday.
The first Monday at 4.
Which one is it? I'm out of town one of those Mondays.
October
Yeah.
The
7th?
14th
I'm out of
is,
town.
the 14th is a holiday and
I'm
the building
gone.
will be closed. What about the 15th?
So why can't we do the 7th? What is that?
I'll be out of
Well,
town.
The 7th, you've already got
I will be too.
insurance, EMS, education, and general op from 4 until
So
7.
which day are you recommending?
You can go the 8th, or you can go the 15th of
I
October.
can't do I'm out of town that entire week, 14th
week
to
before.
18th. Yeah, I'm just.
Lauren, you're out of town the week of the 7th?
Yep.
I was
What about
out of
the
town
8th?
I was out.
What about Tuesday the 8th?
I'm out of town from the 4th to the 13th.
Okay.
What
What about
next,
proposal
the planning
15th?
commission meeting is the 26th of September.
Correct.
Could we meet on the 1st or the 30th,
But the planning is the 24th.
24th,
I mean,
September?
on the
What
30th?
about September 30th? That's a Monday.
It's the last day of the month. I will not be able to be here at 4 o'clock.
I will not be able to be here the last day of the month either.
Would the 1st be an option, or the 2nd or 3rd?
That's better than the 30th.
The first, you've got
I can't
roads
do
at
the
4:30, and you could meet after that at about 5.
I can't do the first.
I cannot.
You can have the meeting without me, but I'm gonna lock the doors at 4:30.
I can do the first.
I cannot do the first.
We got 2 days.
You can't do the first either, Lauren?
Nope.
2nd?
Second's a Wednesday. No, can't do Wednesday.
I mean, can we just go into October? Like,
What's where we
later
are in
into
October?
October?
We would have to do it before legislative.
Which
Have it
is.
without me.
What
We
about-
don't know
what
yet.
about
Legislative is
Thursday?
the 14th.
What about Thursday the 3rd of October? Thursday, you can't do
I
that.
can't do Thursday
You
the
gone that
3rd.
week?
I'm just,
That whole week, I can't do that whole week. First week of
I
October.
can't do the 14th to 18th, so. it's not
So
that.
the week of the 7th, Lauren is the only one out of town. So,
Well, certain days I can and can't do.
can we do the 8th?
Cannot
4
do-
o'clock?
I cannot
I
do
don't
the
have a
8th.
problem with the 8th.
You said the week of the 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th you can't, correct?
the only day that I would be available to meet would be
October 3rd?
What about the commission
Can we do the
meeting?
14th at 4? Before legislative?
I won't be there, but it's all right, whatever. That's fine.
I'm sorry, what day? I've lost.
Monday the 14th? At
What about the
4?
3rd?
That's
The
Columbus Day.
commission,
Oh, that's when legislative meets. We're talking
They're
about.
moving. They're moving.
It's a holiday.
When are they moving theirs to?
They
We
have
don't know
not
yet.
met yet to
All right,
decide.
we'll find out tonight.
Yeah, we'll find out
and the
tonight.
county commission meeting.
So let's do the 15th on
The
Tuesday
21st.
at 4.
Could we do the 21st?
We could do the 21st at 4 o'clock.
In September.
Wait, is that the day of
That's,
the?
well, that's a big day.
No, the 21st.
I would say the
What
15th
about
at
the
4.
21st of October?
And that way, if legislative moves their meeting to Tuesday or whatever, to the next week, we've had it.
Financial management's at 6.
If we have it meet at 4 on that
Commission at
Tuesday.
7, so we have to meet at 5.
We meet at 5 on the 21st?
Financial management meets at
At
5:30.
5:30?
Oh, I got an appointment, it's 5:30.
Yeah, it's 5:30.
Okay.
We're gonna be quick. We're gonna have a resolution. We're gonna have our
We gotta get legislative
Dan,
first.
you're really
Oh,
you're a
yeah,
stand-up
yes.
We have to
comedian.
get legislative first.
Right.
So it's not gonna matter if we do that, we still gotta wait another 3 weeks. That's why I was thinking the 15th. That way if legislative moves their meeting from Monday to Tuesday
Can we not do it the day? Hold on, back your calendar.
to September?
Yeah. What's the whole commission meeting on the 23rd?
No,
No.
can't be on the 23rd.
16th.
It's gotta be the
16th.
15th to the 21st.
What about Tuesday the 17th of September?
We're trying to get planning in there, remember?
That's
Planning
next
commission's on the
week.
24th. It's gotta be after the
it's not enough
24th.
time to test it.
Oh, yeah. When's planning
They're
meeting?
tested.
Planning meets
24th.
24th.
Who's gonna be here?
The
Go to
15th.
October. Go to October.
October 15th.
Who's gonna be here October 15th? Raise your hand.
I can be here October 15th.
You're gonna be here. You're the only one that's not here. Okay, then that's the day because I can be available that day.
Okay,
Okay, so 4 o'clock on October the 15th?
Yes.
yes.
Okay.
Is there a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
We're adjourned.
Take a breather and some air conditioning
It's like
somewhere.
finally one that took my availability into consideration instead of the last
I'm gonna go to
two.
Starbucks and get me one of those.
I would
What is
remind
that?
you, I
Looks like
think
banana
that's still
pudding in a
on.
cup.
It's a pumpkin cream.
It's still
I
recording.
think that's.
Dennis, let's stop capture.
Dennis,
Click it, you could use his mouse.
turn it off.
Might be smart, I'm kidding. We can be technological.